Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What is the worst thing you've overheard while pretending to be asleep? Old roommates planning to kick me out. Did they do it? Squandered your advantage. Should have used your secret knowledge to get the drop on them and kick them out first. I'm not fired, you're fired. I was a camp counselor. Two girls very much like to make hot or not lists. One of them suggested a male counselor was hot, and the other said he was saying mean things about me behind my back, which made him not hot. Hurt to hear that from my campers, but glad they supported me. Or what, that's actually sweet. Good on them. Yep, I know some kids are little shits, but I appreciated them. Damn. So what was he saying about you, if you don't mind me asking? My mom on a payphone, begging her boyfriend for more heroin. Edit. My mom was driving around town late at night, probably trying to score, and I was sleeping in the passenger seat. She stopped at a parking lot. I woke up and pretended to be asleep. This was back when payphones were in convenience store parking lots everywhere. Mid-90s. Edit 2. Last I heard, my mom is clean and doing well enough. I haven't talked to her in almost 20 years. It's healthier for me that way. I'm sorry. Hope you're doing alright now. Thank you for the kind words. I'm totally fine now. That was 25 years ago. Good to hear. My mom having an affair with her fiance's best friend, who was married, in the same room that I was sleeping in. I was like 10 years old. Edit. Spelling. Don't feel too bad. My mom banged some random guy on my bottom bunk while I was on the top bunk. I was probably 8 or 9 at the time. I'm talking loud, vocal, crazy sex. Looking back, I assume she was either wasted or just didn't give a shit. Can't ask her now because I haven't seen her since I was around 12-13. Anyway, just thought I'd share. Damn, that's rough. I'm sorry you went through that. Sometimes it's better to not be able to ask about stuff like that. We often get answers that we really don't want to hear. Edit. Wished the wrong person happy cake day and now I wanna bury my head in sand. Damn. Can't imagine that. Did that affect your relationship with her? That I was dying with meningitis, but jokes on the doctors, I'm still kicking. Yeah, did it to the same doctor twice now. Third time lucky. My family was staying at a friend's house and had to share a room. My dad comes to bed hammered and says to my mum something along the lines of, "Does it impress you that I'm this drunk and can still perform?" I actually wanted to die. Wow, reading this gave me bystander desire for death. Glad you made it through that one. No wonder people at school think he's gay. My stepmom. Are you gay? No, but 8-year-old me didn't know that. Did that make you question your sexuality? The person in the bunk under me beating his D like it owed him money. It borrowed $20 from me last week. Am I supposed to just let the little guy off? Well, that's seemingly the intention. This hurt my soul. Did you ever apologize to him etc? My parents discussing whether or not I was gay, and exploring where they went wrong with raising me. Too many hugs. Edit. This really blew up and I've got a lot of people wondering whether or not I'm gay. For the record, I am straight and have had sex with a bunch of girls. Take that, mom and dad. My mom once asked me if I was depressed because she didn't give me enough hugs. Edit. I think it's funny sad that my highest rated comment is about my mom trying to make my carefully written, tear-filled depression confession about her. Sounds like a caring mother. Nothing wrong with hugs. Makes you more compassionate. Red heart. My friends talking about going into my wallet later and steal my money, and then leave before I notice. I kick them out. Some friends hug. My mom and aunt talking, thinking 10-year-old me was asleep. Aunt, little runs and gooses is so cute. Mom, no, he's not very good looking at all. Had the same experience, but the difference was that I wasn't asleep and my mom said that in front of me. Parents talking about plans for when they were going to have sex. What were the plans? Semicolon. My dad coming home from work at lunchtime the next day to do it while we kids would be at school. When I got back from school that day, I couldn't look my parents in the eyes. Let mommy kiss you hello. No thanks mom. My sister's soon to be fiancé wanking while saying her name. At least he wasn't saying someone else's name. Solid commitment to wank over your partner. This is a case of next to everything else in this thread. This looks positively heartwarming. Who knew a proper wank could show such integrity? Not me, but my wife heard her boyfriend having sex with her best friend. This was obviously long before we met. I was about to say WTF. My sister got drunk and I heard a loud thud and she blacked out. Two of her friends and my mom and dad were shouting at each other and they were saying to shut up cause they didn't want to wake me up and they were all crying thinking she was dead and I couldn't tell my sister I was happy she didn't die. Now I appreciate seeing her every week. I think she died. Shut up, you're gonna wake up, Fox fails. Sounds like the right priority, lol. I was 9 at the time so they were probably right not to let me see her like that. They made the right decision. My dad died when my niece was about the same age and living in the house. He died of natural causes. But my stepmom still ran to get my sister to do CPR instead of shouting so my niece didn't have to see her grandfather like that. I know people are giving you a hard time. But I didn't choose to see my dad's body even though I was in college. I hope my niece was protected from the same sight in similar circumstances to your own. I have never been able to ask. My dad and stepmom was having a foursome with a couple of their friends. We were at a summer house and they did it in the living room. I felt so uncomfortable eating breakfast the next day. Damn bro, I'd be uncomfortable too. Would be worse if the other couple were his mom and stepdad. My then stepmom's nephews talking about what they would do to me sexually if given the chance. I was 14. They were 17, 19 and 21. Thankfully the window to the motorhome was slightly open. And my dad heard the entire thing. I was scared of boys for a long time after that. Edit. Thank you everyone for your comments of support. A lot of people are asking what happened after. This all happened while we were camping on the Oregon coast. My dad ripped them a new one. And that was the end of it. About a year later, the youngest one tried to grope me when I was trying to sleep. But I was able to cover myself and he gave up. The next day I told him I knew what he tried to do. And I would tell my dad if he didn't stop. He acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. But he never tried again. A year or so after that, they got divorced and I never had to see her or her crazy family again. I'm so sorry for those of you who have similar stories. It's been almost 30 years since this incident, and I feel like I have a very healthy view of relationships now. I hope you all are happy and healthy too. 3. Thank you for the awards as well. These are the first 2 I've ever received, and goes to show how awesome most people are. 3. Ah, that's awful. Unfortunately, I was at the perfect age and stage of my life that it messed me up for a while. Had I been younger, I wouldn't have understood what they meant. Had I been older, I would have been better equipped to understand that all males were not like this. Thankfully, their marriage imploded shortly after. Turns out that essentially their entire family were shitbags. Acted asleep while family were talking amongst themselves about getting me married off to this girl who's educated but 5 years older than me. I was 15. Then she got married and divorced and absolutely ragdoll abused. So I actually feel bad about it now. Edit. This blew up. Some backstory. Girl had just graduated and family wanted her to marry. She agreed and their family made a list of possible suitors. I was one on that list. We were close-ish, but I had an almost fully developed beard at that time so they probably assumed I was older. When it was brought up I outright rejected because she was figuratively a big sister to me, always looking out for me. It was an arranged marriage. Their family married her off and they moved abroad. I don't know what the yuck was going through their minds. They married her to a 28-year-old with mental health issues and she'd always get beat up every day because he assumed she was cheating. Then she got pregnant and he didn't believe it was his. It was. Police got involved and then family, uncles, aunts, it disgusts me to even say that, intervened. It's now been 2 years she's free of that monster, but he's not in jail. So it pains me to this day. Comments asking if she's hot? You. Bloody get out more. Another edit. I got emotional so I couldn't say this before. If you do see abuse, intervene the best you can. Call the police. Try to be supportive. Whatever you can. Hey, I don't think you should feel bad about it at all. You were only 15 and what happened to her was entirely the fault of her abuser. You had no responsibility for it at all. You said she's divorced, so I hope she's doing better now. But don't feel guilty. You had me in the first half, not gonna lie. When I was a wee tot, I pretended to be asleep in the family room so I wouldn't have to actually go to bed, and once my parents were distracted, I could keep watching TV. I then got to hear my dad proposition my mom for couch sex. It's been many years so I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of hop on pop. Haha, OMG, that's horrifying. Probably the funniest was on a camping trip with the boys. I have sleep apnea and use a CPAP machine. I overheard a couple of my mates talking about smoking a joint and hotboxing me through the air intake of my CPAP machine. On the other side of the coin, a friend of mine also slept with a CPAP. One night, the dog was sleeping right next to the table where the machine was sitting. The dog ripped super noxious behind, which would have been fine. Friend would have been safe with a mask on, were it not for the fact that the fart got sucked up through the air intake, woke him straight up out of a dead sleep, gagging and gasping for clean air. Edit. Holy crap. Never would I have guessed a friend's unfortunate adventures in canine flatulism would bring such joy to countless thousands. Oh wait. That's right. This is the internet. Thank you for the awards, kind strangers. Holy yuck, that is absolutely hilarious. Edit. Holy yuck, I come back later to find over 2k upvotes for this shitty little unoriginal content. You all feel happy about yourselves? Upvoting shit while better comments get off with nothing? Should be ashamed of yourselves. Join our community Discord, link in description. My mom getting the shit beat out of her. Update. Thanks for everything, guys. Like I said in a reply, it was 30 years ago. He and my mom were married on off until about 7 years ago when he put her in the hospital and I ended up breaking his nose and a rib. No idea where he is now, but she knows if she ever talks to him again or mentions him she loses a son. Update 2. I notice some people following me. You really don't want to do that. I'm what you call a very nicer. I do argue about stupid meaningless shit and have a very strong opinion against racism and fascists. I've only posted one original content here. Man, that's rough. I went through similar shit. Hope you and mom are okay now, buddy. Yep, I ended up beating the shit out of him about 7 years ago. It seems like we're in the same boat, mate. Respect. Sleeping over at a friend's house when I was 14. All of us on the floor in living room. Couldn't sleep. 2 of my friends, guy and girl directly next to me, start doing freaky things to each other. I was extremely shy and a couple of years younger than them, so I stayed quiet and hoped they'd stop. I had to listen to them for an hour while she made whip behind moaning squeaky noises and he was singing, in a weird slightly whispery singy voice, Matchbox 20 songs to her while he did whatever he was doing. That was last time I slept over at a friend's house. Lumfeo, that is weird as uck. He was singing? On a class trip, I heard a girl talk badly about me to the other girls in my room, saying I was a retard and too dumb to stand up for myself. She said the only reason she didn't bully me out of the school was because she needed me to help her with my homework. Then my best friend stood up for me. She said that I wasn't dumb and just a bit shy, and then told her to F off. She's a retard, but I need her to help with my HW. Umfeo. What a dumbest thing to say. That was nice of your friend. Well, my friends sucking each other's D. They were 16. Did you feel left out? I did. Dude, should have just casually walked up and flopped the little guy out in his tuck. They would have let you join. My roommate and her FWB having loud, dirty talk sex. I just had my wisdom teeth out and I think the behind I was passed out on pain meds. I play Payday 2 too much. Read FWB as First World Bank. My mum's boyfriend sloppily trying to fuck my mum all drunk as shit whilst we're all sharing the same mucking hotel room. I was 13. That just brought back a memory for me too. I can't remember how old I was. Somewhere between 10 and 14. Sharing a room on holiday and same thing happened. Was a great holiday until that point. I remember coughing to try and get them to stop but they didn't. Damn. Hope you're doing okay. Not my place to give advice, but having someone to tell trauma like that to out loud helps a lot. Therapist friends. That's a kind of horror no one should have to endure. I wasn't pretending to be asleep so much as the behind I was asleep. My in-laws thought I was still napping after dropping my kid off at school, and they started to shit talk me. They said I was a terrible mom. I didn't care about my kids at all and they better buy a cake because I would rather sleep all day than make him a cake. It was his birthday and my god, it was only 10 AM. It doesn't take that long to make and frost a cake for him. Anyways, I cried in my room for 2 hours before they left to buy groceries, i.e. drink themselves into a stupor, before I got up and made the cake and birthday dinner my child asked for. I didn't tell my husband what they said until a week later because I didn't want to ruin his or my child's day. So sorry you had to hear that. I'm sure your kid and husband loved the cake and had a lovely day. They did. It was a pretty good birthday, and the lucky kid had another birthday with my grandparents plus their foster kids and grandkids. When I was around 8 years old I was supposed to be asleep but I snuck downstairs to get milk or something. I heard talking going on downstairs so I stood still and listened. My mom was talking to my brother about how much of a problem I was and how she hated me. She always liked my brother more. I just silently crept back upstairs and cried myself to sleep. Good times. Hope you're doing okay. That's really terrible. Had a bunk bed in college and one night my girlfriend and I woke up to my roommate banging some chick on the top bunk. My girlfriend asked me what we should do and I just mumbled just go back to sleep because I figured saying something to them at the moment would make things much more awkward. He still doesn't know. Bang your girl to bed and at dominance. This is the correct response. Players 3 and 4 have entered the game. My walls were thin. I could hear almost anything. My parents argued in what they thought was a quiet voice about divorce. Then my dad says you can keep the kid. He annoys the F at and $ out of me. The next week they told me and signed the papers. Edit. Thank you everyone for the kind words. It means a lot to me. I do not really miss him much. He was mentally abusive and verbally abusive. I would sneak out but couldn't bring my mom. That was the hardest. I'm sad but also glad he is gone. Since I am an adult I don't have to see him ever again. Another thing, thanks for the award. Edit again. Damn, thanks for both the awards. I think it is under-discussed how much divorce stems from one of the parties just really not wanting to fucking parent. Like people don't say that out loud. But now that I'm an age where my own peers are getting divorced, truly a lot of it is people, mostly dudes but not exclusively, who are just tired of having responsibilities. I hope you weren't forced to be around him much. When I was like 10 or 11 I visited my dad and while we were watching a movie I tried to fall asleep and I proceeded to hear him uck his GF on the bed I was trying to sleep on. When I woke up all I saw was clothes on the floor. I don't know why I didn't just get up and leave but at least I fell asleep before it really started. No offense but WTF is wrong with your dad? I was at my BF's apartment staying over. His roommate also happened to have some friends who were dating there as well. I was in my BF's room and they were sleeping in the living room. They were definitely yucking. Weirdest thing of it all were these literal banging sounds, like someone was hitting the yucking wall. The whole time I had to piss like a mother ucker but getting to the bathroom involved walking by the living room and I did not wanna risk it. When we woke up the next morning someone had ripped a chunk out of one of the curtains and the TV remote was snapped in half. To this day I don't wanna know what the yuck was going on in there. Plot twist. She's actually the Hulk but instead of transforming when she's angry, she transforms when horny. Roommate's boyfriend and his friend came into my room when they thought I was asleep. It was warm and I was sleeping naked with minimal blanket coverage. I froze and pretended to sleep. They proceeded to talk about my body and how it was anyone's type. Also how easily it was to drug ladies these days. Oh, and also the friend talked about how easy it would be to sell my boyfriend's boat motor that he had stored in the room. Yeah, so they were kicked out and friend became an ex-friend because she was pissed I'd let my boyfriend kick them out. Roommate's boyfriend and his friend came into my room when they thought I was asleep. Who the yuck just enters someone's room like that anyway? Even if they didn't say a single word, that'd be still creepy as yuck. You know, I used to sleep with a knife, and when I grew up I thought what a fucking weirdo I was, sleeping with a knife, but this thread is making me understand why I slept with a knife. My grandparents won $10,000 at the casino, and they told all of their children, and presumably gave them some of that money except my dad. My dad is a D so I didn't tell him either. my roommate's GF begging for anal, but not in a sexy way. So for context, this was freshman year of college and my roommate 4 was a nice dude in an incredibly toxic long distance relationship with his HS GF. She constantly called him and accused him of cheating. He never actually left the room except to go to class. I assumed she was cheating on him, because why else would she constantly assume he was cheating when she had no evidence and he had never done it before, but I never paid attention to the details of the conversations. In fact, I only knew about the cheating accusations because she constantly logged into his Facebook and messaged me pretending to be him, trying to get me to say he cheated. Anyway, she visited. They went out on a date night. I went out drinking. I had a fight with the girl I had been dating. So I went home and went to bed early. I was almost asleep when they came in, making out and all that. I was annoyed but tried to sleep. They were getting busy and then it got weird. "You can put in my behind," she said. "Oh god." She goes, "Yay. John did it, so it's only fair. Plus you're smaller so it will be easy." Double quote. "Wait, what?" he says. "Yep, come on," he says. "No, that's super rocked up. Why would you say that? What the yuck? I thought we were past that." "Oh well, mostly, but like it felt unfair to not let you." Him. I don't even want to have sex. Just go to sleep." Her. Now in a high-pitched pleading voice, "Please, uck my behind. Come on. It's no big deal." Him. I don't want to. It continued back and forth until finally he relented. Then she goes, It's not even hard." "Why isn't it hard?" Then they both cried. I finally fell asleep. They dated another 6 months. Wow, this one is buried deep in this thread, but it is a ride. Freshman college roommate watching O on his laptop wearing headphones, humping his mattress like there's no tomorrow. Dude, just do it. It's not like she'll remember. She's asleep, it's okay to touch her last night. Nope, out of there so fucking quick. Edit. Okay, so I didn't expect this to blow up like it did. Holy yuck. For those of you asking, yes, I'm okay. I woke up the second I heard it and pretended not to hear anything. I just went to the kitchen to get water and call my mom. I was sleeping in my friend's room while she was in the shower. Everything is okay. She understood and very upset about it. Thank you for all the nice comments. Jesus Christ. Glad you got out of there. Hope you're doing okay. My older brother in the next room when he snuck a girl in. They had sex for about a minute and then I could hear him apologizing for about 20. May not be the worst ever, but it's definitely the funniest. I was in trade school in a different city than my hometown, so I was staying at my in-laws' home. My wife's dad was away for the weekend and I noticed her mom was wearing fancy dresses. She's a very beautiful woman, often mistaken for my wife's sister. She also seemed extra giddy before she would go out for the evenings. On the evening my father-in-law got home, I was in my room studying when I heard him yell at the top of his lungs, "So you F the guy." I can only assume she felt guilty and told him since it was soon after he go home. Anyways, he was yelling at her for most of the night and I heard lots of crying from both of them. I heard some pretty terrible things. They are both very nice people and it was sad to hear them on their worst night. They've stayed together and it looks like they are fighting to make their marriage work. My father-in-law was very cold, distant, and angry for a couple of years, but they seem to be warm towards each other again. Also, the following morning they apologized for all the noise they made and I told them I was just listening to music. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.